What's up, everybody? Donnie Samir, Search for Huru. We are back again this Monday afternoon. And today we have the brother Sub-Zero on with us today. And we are going to be discussing opportunities in IT. Corporate America, in fact, we did a show on this last week, me and the brother Dave Anderson, in regards to is corporate America, what's the future for Black people in corporate America? There's definitely a glass ceiling, in my honest opinion, but from my understanding, certain industries, sales, like I'm in IT and truck driving, I hear a lot of brothers speaking on that, are great fields to get into. So brother Sub-Zero is into IT, so he's going to break down how to get into IT. And also, too, from my understanding, Sub-Zero, you don't need to go to like a 4-year university. You just have to get certifications. Is that correct?
Well, I wouldn't even say certs. I actually, right now, I'm training some brothers and sisters on SQL Server. I do business intelligence, which is, basically just what it sounds like, business intelligence, helping upper management in their decision making, not necessarily upper management, but all forms of, managing a business, managing data, data warehousing, things. That's what I do. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. A lot of people right now, white people, they really don't want to get into debt. So if their kids don't have a 4.0, which most of them don't, what happens is they either send them to a community college, get an associate's, and then they go in through a family member or friend, because most of them work in IT. A lot of them do. Or they do what a lot of Indians and Asians do, which is straight up lie on their resume, And this is a little dirty little secret. If you're coming from New Delhi, India, or wherever, you can, or Shanghai, you can say, hey, I worked at this company. And, never the two should meet. You got to experience, somebody will give you a chance.
Right.
And so that's it. So it's really about your interview skills and, your understanding of, the constructs of the different languages and the components within the different platforms that you do to develop it.
Let me ask you this, Sub-Zero. You mentioned East Indians. How are they able to, I guess, control a monopoly, seems like, on IT?
Because quite frankly, what they've done is one got in and they did what I'm doing, which I'm not trying to bolster myself. They got in with a class mindset, not a class, but they got in with a race-based consciousness. They're aware of their own individual race, their own individual, nationality, and they decided that they needed to, somebody needs to go and give back. So that's what they did. They started giving back to their own peoples. They start, and so that's what you'll see a lot of times.
So why are Black people, let me ask you this, Sub-Zero, why do we have this antiquated idea, go to college, get a 4-year degree, no matter at which cost, you come out of school with, $60,000 in debt, more than that now, and work your way up in corporate America or get a job with the government and figure it out. Like it seems like there's so many other options to make a lot of money here in America outside of the traditional 4-year degree. Why are we still stuck on that?
I think, quite frankly, we're stuck on that because I feel like, Black people are behind, like literally 20, 30 years behind their Caucasian or, other race counterparts. So, I've heard it said when America has a cold, we have pneumonia. When they get a flu, we're dead. It's just Black people are so far behind the times to where it's like we literally probably really didn't catch on to the internet to probably 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Still, most Black homes didn't really have the internet. What really changed it was cell phones. Now everybody, it's important for me to have the internet. But up until that point, I guess smartphones, most people didn't have the internet in the hood. So you'd be surprised how far behind we are with technology and what they used to call the digital divide. So
Right.
I think right now, even in our education system, we're 70 years behind. You know, that's why we are off 3 months in the summer because of we're still on an agriculture calendar system of, you know, so, you know, we're just so far behind. We don't turn on a dime. You know, we've all seen racism, white supremacy will adapt in seconds. So, you know, it's like a pathogen. How can you adapt? So Black people, we don't adapt well,
Right.
primarily because, you know, we're really controlled. A lot of our images are controlled by outside forces. So we have to kind of, you know, get away from that mindset. And a lot of times when Black people get into IT, that's an upwardly mobile situation. So what happens is they'll move to the suburbs. Their kids will date white. Their kids will pretty much be white. So by the time they get up, those people will feel as though they don't have anything in common culturally with the average Black person from the hood or the average, you know. So it's, unless you have a race-based consciousness and you know, and you really are aware of your Blackness in the sense that you're able to say, okay, I'm going to not assimilate into this Borg hive of just trying to be, you know, middle-class white American and just say, look, I'm still Black. I'm still going to give back to my people. I'm still going to, you know, share the gospel, so to speak, of IT. Then, you know, Black people will be left behind.
So how would someone who's interested in IT, how would they go about, I guess, getting their certs or accreditation or getting started?
Well, I'm put it like this. You can get the certifications, right? I'm not knocking certifications. I have a Salesforce certification myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get the certification, but getting certifications isn't as easy as we would like it to be. You know, getting certifications a lot of times takes a lot of, you know, work, time, and they make it hard on purpose, just to be honest with you. It's not that you can just do easy. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, because I had got a phone call. But so what you have to do is you can go and study. You can go to your bookstore, sit every day and just you don't even have to buy the book. You just sit there and read. But Black people, one of our biggest problems, this is what burns me up every time I talk to Black people. We get in the wrong disciplines within IT. We get into networking. We get A+, security plus. And I'm not saying there aren't people with these certifications that aren't making six figures, but it's very rare that you're going to see somebody with a A+, security plus certification and they making all this money. More so, it's not rare to see somebody with my skill set making 100. It's not a big deal. I'm not some rare guy when it comes to my discipline. This is what they make. This is what the average. You can go Google. For example, I don't even do Salesforce, but if I have the certification, if you Google the average Salesforce salary, you're looking at $98,000 a year, Salesforce administrator.
Okay.
I got one certification, took me about 2 months to study for. Now, if you're certified, even if you have a degree in whatever, people will give you a job. But let's say you don't have that. Mm-hmm. How will you get in? See, that's been the gatekeeper for a lot of Black people. They say, okay, I can get the certification, but are they going to give me a job just with this? Yes, they will. But a lot of times those certifications aren't as easy as you think. It's not like you're just going to take this test. They make it extremely tricky and difficult. My barber took the test and he struggled with it. You know, he's okay now, but he struggled with it the first time because it was something that he studied for about 5-6 months. And, you know, he went in there and he wasn't prepared. He saw what he had to do once he took it the first time and fixed it, and then he passed it. But what I'm saying is a lot of times they make these certifications extremely difficult. I failed the Oracle certification. They had an OCA certification. Okay. I failed it twice. And you know, and I studied, but I failed it. These tests aren't as easy. And so what they're doing is they're getting you to pay $200 every time, sometimes more than that. Yeah. So it's a form of revenue, just like with Salesforce. I got my Salesforce certification. I got to pay basically $200 a year just to keep it. I got to keep it up to date. So certifications is a good way if you don't have any experience, you don't have a degree. you don't have anything. Even if you have a degree, certifications is a good way. Or what you could do is do what I do. And this is how I got in. I got a certain amount of knowledge through studying for these tests. And I got people to reference and act as references. Mm-hmm. And then I just embellished on my resume. And I know people hate this. Like I know people, I did a video one time and people were very upset. Like he's saying, basically, he's telling you to lie. That's not good. And look, man, you're not going to be able. I'm not saying you're not going to be able to, because I don't ever want to say never. That's not my personality. But it is extreme. You got probably a single digit chance of getting a job with no experience off the street cold turkey. Even a basic job, junior developer jobs want you to have, 2 years experience. You're not going to just walk in off the street. Yeah, I've been studying for about 3 months, man. Give me a job. Right. They're going to laugh at you. First of all, you won't get a call back. So I'm sorry. That's how you get in. I mean, now are there places like Georgia Tech? I think Georgia Tech has a great IT section because those students are coming out, getting jobs. I work in Atlanta. I see kids coming in, but a lot of those guys are Asian, just being honest. So they have, so a lot of them come in, they got family members, they got, it's part of their culture. I live in North Georgia over here in Sandy Springs. Right. It's all Indian and Asian. And, my son goes to daycare. That's all you see. You talk to the people, they in IT. That's just, You there? Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we've got a question in the chat room. Brother wants to know, let me scroll back up. Okay, ask Sub-Zero, does he recommend going to IT for one of the contracting companies like Booz Allen or CACI or General Dynamics?
Oh, yeah. I used to work for them. I work for a company. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, originally. So it's an Air Force. It's basically the Armed Forces Tech Hub is based in Gunner Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay. That's my hometown. So I had a project. I'm not going to say what I was working on, but pretty much I worked with Khaki and I was personally working with General Dynamics. Mm-hmm. Great company. Once you get in, you can go all over the world. They have a network of people. You can go to Afghanistan. You can go to Brazil. You can go all over and work. It's a cool company. Those are cool companies to work for. As Black men going in this industry, you're going to be challenged. You're going to probably, from time to time, you may lose a job. But see, the beautiful thing about my skill set is I can lose a job and in a month, I'm making more money than I was on that other job. Mm. This actually happened to me last year. I was making about 100 and I lost that job. It went up to like 120. It was like about 10 a month. So, but that's what I was making. You know what I'm saying? So you get contracts like that where they're paying you $65, $70. You can get those, but I wouldn't advise those contracts that high when you coming through my training course. My students, I tell them to aim for like $35 the first job. That's usually junior level rates. That's like 2 to 3 years experience. They'll give you that. But once you get north of 5 years, that's the sweet spot. You can jump over to 50, 60, and people will pay you $65 an hour with 5-6 years experience, won't bat an eye. And that's what I'm trying to tell my guys to do. Like when they're in the class that, go for the low amount at first, and then in time, you can raise your rate. But right now it's not about, trying to be rich per se, than just get the experience. Now, let me say this one thing I wanted to address while you were talking, when you introduced me. Go ahead. 2 things. First, my name is Sub-Zero3639.
Oh, my bad.
Because there's another. No, you good, man. There's another brother named Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. My bad. 3639. My bad. Hold on.
Yeah, you good. But also, the other point I wanted to really kind of interject is that I'm not a big proponent of the corporate plantation. Even though I do IT, I use it as a way to obtain dollars to go. It's not a hustle. I hate that word with Black people because we think that's just some sloppy nigger rig shit. Like, just get out there and do some shit. No, I'm telling you to actually know what you're doing, know your skills. But I'd rather you get a skill set. So as you do business, I used to flip houses. I've owned comedy clubs, and I've done a lot of different things. I've done concert promotion, done a lot of things in the community. Whenever I get, if I flip, like I'm trying to get back into building, I'm trying to start building properties now. And if so, I will completely switch the polarity of my channel from IT to how to get into building houses from the ground up, because that's creating profit. But
have you done that before? Have you built houses from the ground up before?
I had the license in the state of Alabama, and I kind of partook in building 1 or 2 properties, but I wasn't necessarily the guy that was set to build the properties myself.
Okay.
Because it was my first time. And then after that, that's when the housing bubble burst, and I got, all that, but yeah, I passed the test before. I know what it takes to get the license. So I'm going to probably get it for the state of Georgia and go for it. But the point I'm trying to make is, IT, man, what it allowed me to do is, you could probably do another video or another, we all do another hangout about these damn police and these damn tickets, like how much they charge people. Because Henry County stopped me, and I had to pay out, just for that one stop, I paid about $4,500.
Whoa. Did you get a DUI?
No. I had a driving while suspended, which was $1,500, 15 and some change. Okay. I had a expired tag. This is before I got into IT. I was completely broke. Okay.
But you can't be partaking in dusty Negro activity,
Well, I mean, brother, do you know what's sad? I actually I was educated. I was doing what I was trying to do I came to Atlanta to go to some training to try to learn to get into IT. So, and that's when that took place. So I'm up in, I actually had a job. He pulled me over. I had on slacks and a button down. I wasn't being dusty. I was just broke.
Just sometimes, we get caught up in dust. Me included, like no tag, no insurance, suspended license.
Yeah.
We can't be riding around.
Yeah, they got me for that. And then the brothers impounded my car. They took some hydroxycut pills and cut them open and tried to test and see if it was drugs.
Are you serious?
They ran the serial number on everything in my car. I had a seatbelt ticket in Alabama, unpaid. They locked me up, tried to hold me for 20 days. They tried to basically screw me, man. So what I'm saying is that's happened to a lot of black men. It's a lot of brothers I'm not a criminal. I ain't never done anything, no hard criminal type stuff. But these brothers tried to, man, say brothers. These white rednecks was trying to lock me up for a month. And while I was in there, this one guy was locked up. He was just stressed because he stopped at a gas station. He had a driving while suspended in Tennessee. He was coming from Florida, had just bought a car. And they impounded the car. And he had been in there for a week. You only can see the judge once a month in Henry County. And there's only 2 people that'll bail you out. 3, I think it's 3. 2 or 3 people that'll bail you out. So tickets are really a problem for a lot of black people that you have to silently suffer. Nobody really talks about it. Like you get a few tickets and it just steamrolls from there. But the point I'm trying to make is it was because I got into IT that I was actually able to pay those tickets. Because it would have took me years to pay that kind of money, but I got stopped. And plus in Georgia, not in Alabama, I had got stopped a couple of times. Mm-hmm. This cop had it out for me. Like he was in my neighborhood. He knew my car. He would be looking for me. Every time he saw me, he would cut his lights on and write 2 or 3. He wrote about 3 tickets. He stopped me each time, wrote out 2 or 3 tickets every time. I said, man, I don't got no job. I'm struggling. He didn't care.
Yeah, you don't care. Of course
so he
not.
basically, and because I didn't come to court, the judge got upset because the judge was locking people up. And I hate to really go off on this tangent, but I just got to explain this part.
Go ahead.
I didn't come to court. So the judge, because I didn't come to court, each driving while suspended, which I think it was 4 of them, he made those $1,000 each. God. Then he made all the insurance tickets $500. That's like 6. Then he maximized all the fees. It came out to like $8,000. So I had basically $14,000. Plus I had to pay a lawyer $1,500 and file what they call a plea of absentia, which meant that I stayed in Georgia. I stayed in Alabama, so I wouldn't go to jail. I had to pay all this cash. And I had the money because I was in IT. Now, could I have gotten this money doing a business? Yeah. Flipping houses? Yeah. But at the time, I didn't have it. And it was the housing bubble was going on. I was broke. I was struggling. And I got into IT I got on one project, I was making $40 an hour. And in a matter of about 6-7 months, and then what make it so bad, I got stopped and I had the money in my bank account and I just went and just paid it all out that day. Just like, screw it. I'm just give y'all the money. Just let me out. So I paid them right there on the spot.
Yeah, smart.
But I'm just saying, that's the type of stuff that a lot of black people go through. And a lot of brothers can't do that. They can't break free of that systematic, system that's designed to, make money off you, man. Right. It just is. It's a racket. So that's what I'm saying. That was some freedom that I was able to get by the skill set that I have. So it allowed me that freedom. Like right now, if I want to go work on a beach, like one of my coworkers, she's an Indian female. Mm-hmm. She's going to India. She's about to leave on Monday, not this Monday, but next Monday. She's going to be gone for 6 weeks and she's going to work in India. She's going to be working when we're asleep.
Wow.
And she's in India like for 6 weeks.
So
if you want to,
that was my next question. You brought up the corporate plantation. Now, do you have to work in an office with IT? Is it flexible, or do you have to work in the office 9 to 5?
What I advise on anything is go, if you're on a contract or if you're a full-time employee, go into the office the first 6 to 9 months, a year, get comfortable, know the material, know the business logic. That's really what it really boils down to. Do you understand the business logic? If you understand the business logic, then what you can do is you can go anywhere. Like if I want to go to the Dominican Republic and stay there for 3 months, I can. I wouldn't do that. But if I wanted to, like a lot of these brothers from, I was on TaylorMade's channel, TaylorMade Dreams, and I mentioned that. And a lot of brothers call me and I tell them, you're going to have to get some experience and understand what you're doing with that particular company. Apart from the skills that I can impute to you or imbue in you, you're still going to have to get out and learn how to, be a developer, how to be a developer at this company.
Right.
Like if I go to a new company next week, I'm not going to just go after a day or two and go work from home. That wouldn't be intelligent. Some jobs will allow you to do that. But especially as a black man, I wouldn't do that because you're going to be watched. Like it's not as stressful as working at some blue collar job. I've been on some hellified blue collar jobs where it was high pressure, racist rednecks screaming at you. Like I've been through that before.
Right.
But corporate environment is a little different. Like in the code, so people leave me alone. We have a morning scrum meeting at like 9:30. And on this project, everybody's older. It's a lot of older white people and one or two Indians. It's just like a small group of about 5 of us. Everybody gets along. Nobody's picking on me. Nobody's saying anything. So I put my headphones on and I just code. Nobody messes with me. I develop my packages. I do my reports. I could search the internet if I need to look something up. That's it. If I don't understand the business logic, I get up and I ask them a question. They help me out. Everybody's fairly cool. Once they see you're coming in to try to pull your load, a lot of times IT is very laid back. Now, am I saying that these people aren't racist? I don't know. I really don't care. They're not messing with me. And I've been on projects where I've been messed with. So I've had people that were racist that I work with, but that were looking to start something all the time. But that doesn't, I say about 8 years, I probably had maybe one project like that where that actually happened, where this, was just outright redneck type stuff. Usually people in IT leave you alone. And even on that project, 90% of the time I was at my damn cubicle minding my business. Nobody said nothing to me. It was just that 10% of interaction that was just, but quite frankly, even in that project, I have to admit that there had been so much that had happened because that company had a project with a phone carrier and they had screwed up so much. But when I came in the door, it was already a lot of stuff going. So I don't even know if I can blame that on 100% race, but it was a tough project nonetheless. Racism or, politics, nonetheless, it was a tough project. But for the most part, and I've been let go from projects, but I'm cool with it. Even if they don't call me and tell me, and they call me on a Friday and tell you, hey man, they don't need you back. Right. I'm cool because I manage my money. See, I never let them get me to the point where they need me like I need them. My car, I like my car, but my car is like a 8-year-old car. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything I got is cheap. I don't spend a lot of money. So for me, when you're on the corporate plantation, even though I'm a contractor, when you're on the plantation, you still have to be careful.
Right, of course.
You can't just, you can't can I afford to go buy a big ass 2000 whatever? Yeah, I could. I make the money, but I'm not finna do that. I'd rather have a bank account full of money that I can go and do deals with. One of my favorite YouTubers, I talked to him, Mr. Blackman, Taking Our Community Back.
Right.
I spoke with him. That brother's making some real moves out there in Houston in real estate. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a lot of good things, but he has a job. You know, a lot of times black people, man, when you get these high earning jobs, if you have the discipline, you can actually be your own bank. I mean, you can like a lot of times when you need a deal, people say, we need you to come in here with 25 cash. That used to seem insurmountable, but if I'm like, man, 6 months of discipline, I can probably get that. If I focus, I believe I can do that, and that's what happens. That's what, if you discipline yourself, if you're making 10,000 a month, why can't you, give yourself 5-6 months, go for it. Yeah, I think it could be done, but black people, we need to, that to me is one of the most powerful things. I think even when you talk about racism, white supremacy, if you actually are disciplined with your money, that is one of the most powerful things you can do, because you're almost unstoppable. Because I don't care if they pay you $50,000 or $40,000 a year. You're like, okay, well, I'm just going to find a way to adjust my life to where I can save 30-45% of that. And I know that sounds almost crazy, but what I'm saying is, well, you're not really, because you got a lot of black people living off $30,000 a year out here. So it can be done, and you can have some semblance of a life. But I think one of our biggest problems, especially as African Americans, is our love for consumerism.
Right.
I heard it said, we beg. What they say? We buy what we want and beg for what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, we got a couple quick questions in the chat room. Everybody, please get the likes up. So we have 115 people watching, only 41 likes. Please get the likes up. Also, make sure you share. We had a couple questions. Let me scroll back up. Somebody, Maurice Anderson, thank you for the super chat, wants to know, do you have a Microsoft partnership? Do you have a Microsoft partnership?
Not yet. What I really want to do is get into the Workforce Investment Act. And that's basically where the government will pay $5,000 if you've been unemployed for 90 days. The government will give you $5,000 to come get trained, get certified. I'm not charging that kind of money. I'm charging people $25 a session. Like, that's literally what I charge. Like, I'm just trying to, because it's really not about the money with me. It was about just making sure that if people pay me, hey, if you give me $50 a week, I'll train you, which is nothing. But I do that because I want to try to make them spend something so they might at least try to give an effort.
Right.
So I'm not charging, man. The whole course I do is $400. I'm not even trying to, I don't have a lot of students right now. A lot of them started and kind of fell off. I told them they can come back next class. A lot of them say they're going to come back and start over. The next class is in June. So, but yeah, I probably one day I'll probably build up to that. I really wasn't trying to make this into a business. Actually, I'm just being honest. But a lot of times they say some of the best businesses fall in your lap. So.
And then we had another question. Somebody was asking, what are your skills? What's your skill set?
I initially started trying to be an Oracle DBA, which for those of you that don't know, you don't really go directly into being a DBA. You usually start off as a developer, which is what wound up happening. I went to a company that's now defunct called Set Focus. And Set Focus taught me T-SQL. They taught me integration and reporting, or what they call ETL, track, transform, and load, which is just a fancy way of saying moving data. That's it. And I went and learned how to create reports, SQL Server reporting services, which is how to make basically reports to show you, hey, what's going on with the data. I need an email sent to me every morning, or what they call a subscription, telling me what happened yesterday, which region is in the red, which region is not performing well. We need a red report. So I'll create a report where sales aren't going good for this particular hotel, which or whatever. Let's say whatever you do with whatever line of business, your company, medical, whatever. Okay, sales aren't going good. We see this. Okay, this company here didn't do this. Okay, so the weather. I mean, it's all types of things that I take into account when I create a report. Weather. A lot of this information is actually taken into account when you say, okay, they didn't have sales in the Puerto Rico store. Well, they just had a hurricane hit. And, so that type of stuff is you can actually cater your data. And you can, for example, I'm going to give you a good example. When you go to Best Buy and they give you that little badge that goes on your keychain,
right?
They keep your information. You enter your information. They keep it, right? They look at your buying habits. That's why you get the emails you get. That's why they wait a certain amount of time and they say, okay, this person bought this. By now they should be out of it. So let me send them like Kroger's or something. They'll send you something in a week, or, Lowe's or Home Depot. All these companies are starting to do this. This is due to business intelligence, because I can take my customer information and I can take that information, aggregate it, and start ascertaining certain customer habits, what's going on, certain, employee habits, information. You can save all that information and it just makes for a better business experience.
Okay. What now? So how what are usually the hours for someone who's in IT? Is it like a 9 to 5 or what is it?
It is. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like tomorrow, right? If I want to, I didn't bring my laptop. Had I brought my laptop, I could have jumped on, sent a couple of emails at like 5:30. Not 5:30, but like let's say 6:30, 7 o'clock. I get up, send a couple of emails, do a couple of things, get off, go in at 10 o'clock so I can skip traffic, right? As long as they see where I was working 2 or 3 hours in the morning, they can log in and see, okay, he logged in at 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock. He worked till 9 or 8:30. Then he came in at 10:30 or 10 and he worked till 4:30. Well, he skipped lunch, which I do. A lot of times I don't eat lunch. I skip it most of the time. This company I'm at now, they buy lunch for you every day. So, well, not every day, every Monday through Wednesday. We get Grubhub. So they give me like $15 a day to get food. So every day I go in, I just order whatever I want and they bring it for lunch. But I only eat once a day. So that'll be it for me. So I'm saving money like crazy, but that's basically how a day goes. Sometimes you can come in at 6, 7. Some people come in at 7 o'clock, skip lunch, leave at 2, 3. I mean, it's a real laid back situation. Or if you miss hours and you say, hey, I'm gonna get on tonight. I'm finna leave at 12. And you send an email out. You can get back on at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Nobody's really stressing. If you're at home with your laptop and long as you can vouch that you're doing your job, most people aren't going behind you scrutinizing and saying, you didn't work 40 hours. Nobody really cares. As long as they see that you logged in, you're good.
All right, let's see what else here. What other questions we have in the chat room? People, please get the likes up. That's all I'm asking for. If you're not super chatting, the least you can do is get the likes up and share. That's the least you can do. Somebody said when you get a IT certification, get the partnership for bigger money. Let's see here. I work in automation. Hold on. Here we go. Somebody says, are you IT guys married? What's the long-term plan in regard to family life and passing it on?
Well, if you go to my channel, you'll hear about that. I got a son. He's 2 years old. Definitely legacy is one of my big things. You see the other interview I did with Dynast, and I actually kind of recorded a video this morning because sometimes one beautiful thing about work, I get off and I'll walk out. I'll leave my desk and walk. And that's what people do. They encourage it. You get out your desk, you go downstairs and you walk the office park. So I got a watch. I got my little watch on. I walk like 8,000 steps a day. So while I was out there today, I just recorded a video and I'm talking about legacy and, wealth and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely my plan. So, that's what I'm planning to do. I believe in marriage and stuff like that. I believe in children. I'm not one of those brothers that, don't believe in legacy. So I believe in marriage. I believe in children. I believe in, I think that's one of the most powerful things you can do as a man is, have children and instill principles in them for the next generation. Because right now, the people we're dealing with today, the reason they own 87% of the wealth, like Dr. Claude Anderson talks about, is because 150 years ago, John Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, Henry Ford, they were thinking about today. Mm-hmm. So if we want our kids to not be getting their ass whooped and shot and choked on camera in 100 years, then we need to organize today with families, with wealth, with mortgages, with life insurance, with just, if anything, just get a mortgage and some life insurance and raise your kids. Mm-hmm. Just do those two soft. That's not any big investment. You get a house, an average house, middle class family, $200,000, $250,000 house. Get some life insurance. With you, if you make about, let's say 65, 70, you're looking at $700,000 life insurance. That's it, man. Leave your family $1 million. I don't see that as hard to do. I think that's at least $500,000. You should do that. And I think that's something that we as Black men, especially because we don't live as long, we need to have that. You got brothers out here with health problems and like, man, you should get some life insurance. You got kids, man, go get you $500,000. That's what white people very strongly, firmly believe in life insurance. One thing I've learned about corporate America, I pay attention to the Asians, the Indians, the whites. One of the biggest things they do, they maximize their 401k. Right. All of them do. Like, they go way above and beyond. And they also believe in paying for life. They maximize the 5 years of life insurance that you get through the job. Then they go buy more. They do it. We just had an open enrollment at this company. I was at the meeting, and they let me come in there, and they were just like talking about it. And this one guy stood up like, man, I've been with this company 15, 16 years, and I've always maximized from day one. And I'm like, that's because he's married. His wife, she probably work at some company making whatever. Mm-hmm. So they both maximizing because two people live as cheaply as one. So there are benefits to marriage. There are benefits to having kids and having that next generation be able to further things along. But we're not going to win if we don't believe in marriage. We're just not. We're going to stay where we are because you're fighting forces that this shit been going on for hundreds of years by the time you born, man. You think you just going to come in and in one fell swoop outcompete people whose parents, great grandparents left them money and their parents and their parents and their parents. No. So, I'm a very firm believer in that.
See what else we got in the chat room. I mean, what? Let me ask you this: as far as starting your own IT firm, where do you see? I mean, is that something that is possible? Like, how's that process work? Do you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do a consulting firm, what I would advise is, like for me, for example, I got my own corporation. All of my money comes to my corporation, right? So, especially if you're Black, what you could do if you're Black is, this is what I would advise. The government, the reason Prince George County, Maryland is like it is. See, I'm from Montgomery, so I know a couple of Black millionaires that got properties in Prince George's County, Maryland. A lot of those people got IT tech jobs. A lot of those people, those Black people with those government contracts and stuff like that, what happens is they go into these jobs, they work a job, but they get paid through their corporation. Right. So if you're able to, but then you get this 8A certification and I'm actually reach out to me because I actually know somebody that does that, a Black woman that actually get you all that, get you ready and get you in compliance with the government. Once they get you in compliance with the government to be able to go out and start applying for a lot of this stuff, what happens is you may get a small contract for like $2-3 million. Right. And then that's a tiny project, right? And you'll get that, you'll do that. And what you'll do is you'll sub out you get subcontractors to go in, you'll pay $30-$40 an hour. It might take you a year, for a year. It might take you may do 75% of that. Well, that $500,000 is yours. Then you'll do another project. And that's how it is. And so I know a brother in Montgomery, he's always in DC. He has a house in Prince George County, Maryland, but he's from Montgomery. And that's what he does. And a lot of the well-to-do black people that you may see in Montgomery, and one of the main reasons Montgomery, and you can look this up, is one of the best is considered top 2 in the country to own a black business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, I think Montgomery, and I'm from Montgomery, and I can't stay in Montgomery. But when it comes to that, that's why, because there are a lot of black people with tech firms living in that area. Now, what you could do is go to your chamber of commerce, your local chamber of commerce, tell them what you want to do. And you can go to your white one. Depending on if you're in a small town, that probably may not be as beneficial. But if you're in a city, 200,000 or more, you go to your chamber of commerce, tell them what you're trying to do. There are a lot of resources of places that you can go. Best thing to do is start with yourself and build yourself out. Then what you do is you find people with requirements. Like, I'm working on a project and somebody will say, hey, we need this. Well, you act as a liaison. You can bring that person in if you're a contractor and bill that person out. And you may bill them out at, let's say, $60. You get them 40, you keep 20. So every week you make $400 off this, $800. You make $800 off this person. Then, say if you bring in 3 or 4 of those people, and you're doing that, plus you getting paid. That's what my brother did. He had a project back during the .com era with, what was it? Motorola in Arizona. And then it was like during the .com, like right around the end, around 99, I was at Tuskegee and he got a project with Motorola and he was raking in like 40 a month. And he was clearing that. It only went for about 5-6 months though, because they pulled a plug on it. But he raked in probably in $200,000 in like 6 months, So he took the rest of that year off after that project kind of fizzled out. But that's the type of money you can make. And there are a lot of black people out here that are doing that quietly. That's what I don't like. A lot of us get that type of money and we don't say, hey, I don't see too many black people saying. There are a few people on YouTube. I'm not trying to act like I'm the only one, but there are a few, but there aren't many. And there are tons of black people making way more money than I make. Mm-hmm. Like Salesforce, if you get that Salesforce architect will probably take you, let's say it takes you 2 years to get that. You will literally make $300,000 a year as a Salesforce architect. I mean, they got to pay you that. You're not going to get a Salesforce architect under $100 an hour. Mm-hmm. You're just not. So you're talking anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000. Some of them making, the type of money that's what doctors make. And you can make that kind of money if you're in the right situation, if you know which disciplines.
Sub-Zero.
Because it would probably take you 2 years to get that level of expertise, because you'll have to pass all the certification tests and stuff like that with Salesforce. But you're talking, that's what doctors make. Now, if you go to medical school, do your residency, you talking, a lot. And I'm not taking a jab at those shakes. I would love to do what he's doing. Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
that's so like what, $80,000 or $20,000 a year, probably.
What?
Medical school.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can actually, let's say you went directly to Salesforce, the company, and you paid Salesforce cash to train you. They do boot camps on their tests. Like, they'll actually let you pay them, but you're going to pay probably $5,000-$6,000 per module. Well, it's only about 5 or 6 modules that you'll have to take. Actually, 8. I think it's about 8. So for about, let's say you spend $40,000 and you give them $40,000 worth of training. You give them that money to train. Now you could train yourself, but let's just say you went and took their test for a week in San Francisco, or you took it online and you took it. And then after that time, you spent $40,000. If you pass all those tests and you go, because you're going to pretty much be very familiar with it, because you'll have taken that training, and they'll give you the source material and where to go and what to do. Once you understand that stuff, for $40,000, you can literally put yourself in a position to draw in, at a minimum $150. That's if you don't pass the architect test, because the architect test is $3,000 just to sit for it, and you go before a panel and they ask you questions. It's not a written test. But this is Salesforce. Now that's just one discipline. I chose this discipline because it was easy for me to get in. I got in. I didn't have to take a certification test, and I could still make 100 and whatever without having to go and do all this, test stuff. Because I failed the first 2 tests. I was like, I'm just going to go and try to see if I can get somebody to vouch for me and get a job. And that's what happened.
Yeah, everybody. Again, thank you for joining us. Make sure you get the likes up. Hopefully you guys find this information valuable. I do myself. Victor Mobley wants to know, what are your perspective on Cisco certs?
That's something that we as Black people, we always wind up getting. And I'm sure there may be some people, they're going to call this blasphemous. And a lot of Cisco people, whenever I'm on an interview or something, they get mad at me. That's the easiest, lowest hanging fruit that Black people get in. And you'll probably get around $70,000 with 8 to 10 years experience. That's just real. I'm not knocking that because that's pretty good. In fact, it's not bad. But a lot of these people, they get these Cisco certifications. And that's why you see a lot of Black people, when they say they're going into IT, they wind up doing help desk. Because, they wind up doing those types of positions where you're doing a help desk positions. Even if you're a Cisco guy, a lot of those jobs turn out to be help desk jobs. They don't pay as much. You can make 50, 60,000 a year with these jobs. And I got a friend that's making 60, and he's been doing this for just about as long as me.
Wow.
10 years. And he's trying to get out of it and get into what I do. Because he's like, man, I can make double what I make with the same experience that I have. Cisco, that's what they give you. You know why Cisco doesn't pay that much?
Why?
Because anytime you cut your television on and you see these people on these companies, these education companies, they teach that. That's what they teach. That's the most teach discipline out there. But when I talk about business intelligence and BI, you don't see as many people teaching that. You see what I'm saying? And it's not something, you could go on Udemy and take a little course, but you're not finna go on Udemy, watch that course, and then just, you got to kind of have some instructor-led courses. Mm-hmm. Well, when you start talking instructor-led, you're going to pay thousands for that. Real talk. That's why I think, and I'm not trying to say this, I paid $15,000 to learn what I'm learning, what I'm teaching. I had to go to Set Focus and sign up with a company and had to get a loan from them to take this. And it was $15,000 for them to teach me what I know now. The stuff I'm teaching for $400. But this is primarily, I do this because of my love for my people. But I'm just telling you, it's not easy to get into, but Cisco is easier. And the reason it's easier, every community, you got a ton of community colleges teaching it. You got everywhere you go, colleges, you got universities, 4-year universities still teaching people Cisco. Not as many people are teaching Salesforce. Not as many people are teaching, what I do.
Hey, Sub-Zero, someone wants to know, what's the best cert to get in your opinion?
I wouldn't say get. I don't know. It depends. That person probably needs to just email me, and I need to talk to them individually. I will have to because I don't know specifically where they're coming from, what type of education they got.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll drop your email address in the chat forum. 3639@gmail.com. There you go. Email them. Somebody else wants to know. Let's see here. What platform did you use to study? CBT Nuggets or book study?
I didn't use any of those. I like CBT Nuggets though. I mean, I do like them. So I'm not going to disparage them in any way. I mean, that's a good platform. Lynda. I use Lynda primarily, but I'm gonna put it like this. You can go watch. What's gonna happen is you're gonna watch the video, right? They're gonna say stuff. You're not gonna know what they're talking about. You're gonna need a book to study. Now, most people don't have the I'm just gonna be honest with you. Most of us, especially Black people, we don't have the testicular fortitude to sit there, watch these 4-hour videos, because that's what it's basically gonna do. When it's gonna take them about 4 or 5 hours to teach you whatever subject. Most of them around 4 or 5 hours. Once they teach you, then you got to read a book. And I know people, this is nothing. I could do that. Okay. Read the book. You got to go through it with a highlighter. Then you got to kind of, one of the good ways to do that is also go find review questions and quizzes to test your knowledge. Then you find interview test question websites, but me, I hold people by their hands. And instead of you having to sit there for 4 or 5 hours, I tell you what it is in a few seconds. Because I'm talking just like right now. If I tell you, hey, what's a view? What's a subquery? What's this? What's that? What's an index? What's a clustered index? Non-clustered index? I can tell you in seconds. Whereas if you have to read, it may take you months to get this. So, but I'm taking months, but I'm breaking it down in pieces. And as long as you come into the class and you give effort and you're training and you're doing what you're supposed to do, then I can help you get along. But if you're not, and you want me to come in and just put it in your head, which some Black people are like that, then you're going to have a long, arduous journey. It'll probably take you months. And you're going to have to come back to my class 2 or 3 times until you finally get it. But why not just put the time in yourself? And I tell my students that's in the class now, like, man, you guys, in 3 or 4 weeks, you guys can be interviewing if you bust your ass. If you go ahead and take a day or two, go through review sessions, go through the scripts that I gave you, execute, play with the code yourself, start creating your own SSIS packages, they hadn't done reports yet, but that type of stuff. Once they do that, then it'll put them in a position where they'll be able to go out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview you myself and make sure that you're up to par. Because if you can't answer my interview questions, you're definitely not ready to be out there trying to interview. Right. So, and I'm going to take you to places where I know you're going to get quality interview questions, because not every interview website gives you good interview questions. You can't just type T-SQL interview questions in a search engine and think that that's it. Oh, this, I can answer all these questions. And then you get on an interview and you get an asshole who wants to drill you, and they start asking you these damn recursive CTE questions. And you like, what the hell is that? I don't know, and I've had people do that to me. That's why I remember that. Because I've been on I've had that, I have the experience, and I've been on interviews and seen people, cracking books open, trying to screw me over. And those are the jobs you really don't want. 9 times out of 10, when you go on an interview, you'll get a lot of the jobs I get jobs in 24 hours sometimes. People I'll lose a job, call a recruiter, they'll call somebody, they'll call me, ask me a few tech questions. I'll go in the next day, talk to them, and I got a job that day. Like, I had that happen about 3 or 4 times where I lose a job, and then I go and they ask me what my rate is. I push it up. I was making 40, well, I make 50 or 45 or whatever. Sometimes if I don't get a job in the first week or 2, I'll take it down just to get a job. Like, man, just give me 45, just to get back to work. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you can get jobs fairly quickly. It's just a great life, man. It is. It's actually a laid back situation. I got out at 4:30. I actually left my desk at 4 o'clock today. Mm-hmm. Nobody said nothing to me. I got at 4 o'clock, got in my car and left. Came down 400. I text you, hey man, I'm available. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good life. That's just me. It's a laid back, easy life. You're not stressed in any way by NIT. The only time, I ain't gonna say you're not stressed. You're stressed in that you may have deadlines and timelines that you have to meet. But therein, now we're talking about communication. If you have the skills, 90% of it is you have the skills, and it's just knowing how to be resourceful and going and looking, doing the right, Google searches, finding certain things. Like right now I'm doing a report and I'm supposed to dynamically, the columns are changing based on a particular parameter in that report. That dictates how many columns it's going to return. So I'm trying to find out how to shrink that report so it doesn't have all this big white space in there. Little stuff like that. So somebody's been through that before. That's one of the most beautiful things about Microsoft and SQL Server, which is what I do. There's a large community of people that have been through. So when you type a question up, Stack Overflow is going to come up. MSDN forums are going to come up. Somebody's been through it. And so a lot of times, half the stuff I learn is because of Google searches. Like dividing by zero in the SSRS report. Well, I found a script today and I put it into the report properties under the code section. And now, anytime now, I just got a little function I call and bam, I can divide by zero, which you're not supposed to be able to do that. But you know what I'm saying? So right. Little stuff like that. You figure stuff out, little key tricks. It just comes with experience. Now, you come through my class, and I'm not trying to sell people because usually I'm kind of getting overran with this second class. I got like.
Well, I was gonna say people are asking too. How do they just need to email you if they're interested in your class? And Seth Pokel, thank you for the super chat.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just email me. Email me, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you my phone number. We're gonna talk one-on-one. I talk to everybody, and I say, okay, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do? And they tell me, and I say, well, look, man, maybe you need to, because I have talked to a couple of guys. They were like, man, I'm just really trying to find out information. I don't know. And I said, well, man, maybe you need to, don't just join my class and throw, money at it just because you want to, make sure this is what you want to do. Because I'm on your ass when you get in class. Like, I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to make sure that you know your stuff. And I'm not going to let you sit on there and be quiet. I'm going to ask people questions. I'm going to call you out by name. I want interaction. I want people to really be, focused, because damn it, you're going to have to know how to talk. You're going to have to know how to communicate to get a job. Those are the skills I'm really trying to give you. The soft skills. It's not about like you can learn. I can tell you in seconds what to do to get a job. You look, if you call me on the phone, on speakerphone, right? If they do a speakerphone interview, Dinus, with you right now, they ask you a question. I could text you the answers, right? They ask you a question, you put it on speakerphone, put me on three-way, I'll text you the answers. You can get the job. How do you communicate? What type of questions do you ask? What's your voice inflection? Little shit like that is what really makes the difference in getting jobs. I hate to say it because it sounds sad, but we're not in a position of power. So I'm going to tell it like it is. Putting white people at ease on these damn interviews, making them understand I'm non-threatening. I can be a part of your I can be what they call a culture fit. Because a lot of times when I first got in IT, they used to say, he just doesn't seem like a culture fit. I would ace the damn interview. I mean, what do you mean culture fit?
That's code for something else. That's another show.
Yeah, he a nigga. I get it.
That's code for something else. That code. Yeah, I already know that.
But what I would do is I said, okay, I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna be so disarming. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna come. I know we as black people don't want to do that. Smile. We don't laugh at those little cheesy ass whack jokes they tell.
Yeah.
Little shit like that. That's what you do to get a job. Then when you get the job, you can come in that bitch and be like, hey, how you doing? Mind your business. Mm-hmm. They can't do nothing. As long as you're doing your job, you don't have to be all, well, I ain't gonna say that. You do still need, even if you had a job, it does help when they have like little office functions at office. Like sometimes they get barbecue out on the back.
Yeah. Go
out there and get a piece of barbecue and talk to them, man. And don't seem so distant. Little stuff like that I had to learn. Because they would be having barbecues. I'd be sitting in my cubicle like, I'm finna leave. Shoot, they tell them we can leave early. I'm gone. That was me. And then you wonder why you get let go from that project. When they want to play ping pong, go play ping pong with them. Little stuff like that is what keeps you on these jobs.
Right.
So.
Yeah, brother. Well, I mean, brother Sub-Zero, thank you so much for coming on. Please give everybody I put your contact information in the chat room, but go ahead and give it to each other. I mean, give it to the people again.
It's Sub-Zero 3639 at gmail.com. Like I said, any of you brothers and sisters want to reach out to me. I'm gonna say this, man. The class is 99% brothers, which I like. Because I believe, like I said, I'm making a video about patriarchy right now, and I want to see black men making high earning potential black men. We need more of that. But I'm here to help the sisters too. If you want to join the class, you want to Sub-Zero 3639 at gmail.com. Email me. We can chop it up. I'll teach you whatever I know. I'm an open book. I'm gonna tell you this right now. There are gonna be times in this class you're gonna ask questions. I'm gonna be like, man, I don't know. Shit, let's look it up. I'm either look it up or I'm gonna tell you, hey man, I don't think that's something that you need to worry about because I've been doing this for 10 years and nobody's ever mentioned that.
Right. Absolutely. Well, everybody, again, thank you for joining us. Make sure
I'm basically gonna try to put this.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm basically gonna try to so you can do what I do. I'm gonna try to download what I know in your brain so that you can go and be a replica of me. And, and that's it.
Absolutely. So everybody, again, thank you so much for joining us. Sub-Zero, brother, thank you so much for coming on. And we got to do another show on the corporate culture. We got a culture fit. We got to do another show on that. But
I think I don't want people to mistake what I'm about, brother. I'm about economic empowerment, Black economic empowerment, and I'm not saying that I want that we're making it because we got a job. Right. I just want it to be easier for you to obtain your goals and get your tax returns together when you're making 80 or 100,000 a year than it is to make 20,000. Because Black people, you're struggling. Most of us out here struggling, man. We don't know the secrets.
Yeah, but we'll definitely do the corporate culture one here soon. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Please go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru.com, DynasMir.com, Amazon.com. Search your name, Dynasmir. Please buy a book. Make sure you go to AfricaPersonified.Africa. Brother Sub-Zero, till next time, we got to get together back again this week and do the corporate culture one. We got to do that'll be an important topic. We got to cover.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That's gonna be interesting.
All right, everybody. Till next time. Man. Peace.
All right, stay up.